What is going on, everyone? Welcome to WreckTalk. Ton of videos to make, ton of things to talk about. Obviously, we got a game this Saturday, 8 p.m. I expect all of you guys to be there. I don't even think I even need to say that. But people are starting to take notice. Something is clearly different in Atlanta. Signed your first 5-star in Josh Petty. You had a string of them, right? You had looking at the kid's name now, it started with the kid from Duluth, Demola Adenjuan. I apologize, I can't pronounce the last name. We'll just call him Demola. You know, he commits, a guy that Georgia was wanting. Then you land 5-star Josh Petty, and everyone wanted to get in their feelings about that. That were Ohio State, especially Florida State. Florida State exists in their feelings. And Tennessee, you know, we reacted to two absolute knuckle-dragging idiot Tennessee fans. I don't know if they were dipping into the moonshine too much that were so in their feelings about it, they said that that was a red flag for Georgia, or Georgia Tech. Suffice to say, you get what is the first 5-star in your history. You know old Goof Collins is watching this, just wringing his hands. But yeah. Then, not long after Petty commits to Tech, Christian Garrett decommits from Georgia. And all the rumblings were he was coming to Georgia Tech. And he commits today. This is huge. The one place that I really want to see Georgia Tech recruiting well in is defensive line. Something that we haven't. I'm trying to think if we've ever recruited defensive linemen kind of at the level we need to. The last time I can remember us having kind of a dominant defensive line was like in the early 2000s with Derek Morgan, Michael Johnson, even Joe Anawai, who's now Roman Reigns. This is how you want to build a team, though. You want to build it from the line of scrimmage out. Go back and watch that Florida State game if you don't think that's important. But things are different in Atlanta. There's a buzz, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, around this program that's never existed before. Brent Key, Jay Batt, Buster Faulkner, Chris Winkie, now Tyler Santucci are injecting a life in this program that's never existed. We now have the 20th ranked recruiting class on 3 and the 19th ranked recruiting class on 247. So let's take a look at it. Obviously, Josh Petty, the top recruit. But you get some big ones that people wanted. Like, look, Dalen Pinson, fantastic player, 4-star out of Sandy Creek. Is that where Calvin Johnson came out of? I want to say it was. Christian Garrett is massive, not only because he's a 4-star defensive lineman and we have depth issues at the defensive line, but this is Georgia's backyard. This was a guy Georgia probably felt like they had. Key went in there and got. I've said it on the live show, you know, if you haven't heard or you don't know, Bogart, Georgia's 10, 15 minutes at most, if that, from Athens. You go in Georgia's backyard and get a guy they wanted is massive. I can't remember the last time Tech was even really recruiting the same players that Georgia was. As sad as that is to say, you know. It's probably going to get my video demonetized. Let me flip this back off. Isn't that sad? Things like that will get your video demonetized. Brent Key said this when he was hired by he who shall not be named. We should just call him the last coach, since he wants to refer to it as the last place. Brent Key was asked about like recruiting against Georgia Tech and what that was like. When Key was at Bama, he said, honestly, I haven't recruited against Georgia Tech in a really long time. Alabama, Georgia, a lot of these SEC schools, they're not recruiting the same players. Well, damn it, now we are. And by God, we're getting some of them. We're getting some of them. It's making a difference. I can't think of a guy more tailor-made for Georgia Tech than Brent Key. His heart's at Georgia Tech. He played at Georgia Tech. All these people that aren't, in the know at Tech saying Brent Key to Florida, Brent Key's going to get poached, that is insane. He's not going anywhere. Buster Faulkner, Chris Winkie, even Santucci, if the defense maintains this level of play, you're going to have to pay Tyler Santucci. They definitely can get poached. I think Brent Key, the only way Brent Key leaves Georgia Tech is if he gets fired, and right now that doesn't look likely. I'm just really over the moon about it, the way that Tech's program is really stepping into the national stage now. Like, Tech's not flying under the radar anymore. Like, people know Georgia Tech's offensive line is legit. And it is legit. Brent Key's building the team the right way from the line of scrimmage out. And we've got the skill players we need. You keep Eric Singleton Jr., a guy that a lot of teams are throwing a lot of money at. You keep Haynes King. Not that I know anyone was really throwing any money at him, but you got the quarterback you need. You got the guy in Zach Pyron that's ready to take the reins at any minute. Georgia Tech is now set up for long-term success, in my opinion. Does that mean I think we're going 9-3 or 10-2 this year? No. But Georgia Tech is going to continue to beat teams that people don't think we should be able to beat. No one's going to work harder than Brent Key to make this team what we all know it can be. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a preview for the Georgia State game, which is important. Again, if Georgia Tech thinks they can overlook anyone, they're out of their freaking mind. They're just flat out of their mind. If you don't think Georgia State can sneak up and bite you, or Syracuse, or that Louisville can embarrass you in Kentucky, you shouldn't even be thinking that way. But what we'll do is we'll break down some film from Florida State. It's kind of hard to preview teams that haven't played this year. I know someone in the live show chat was saying break down Scher's offense. The truth is Scher's offenses or defenses, I meant to say defense, are kind of bland. He really hasn't been a coordinator in some time in college football. I think Tennessee some moons ago was the last time. So I don't even know if there's a ton of value in that. I think there's more value in breaking down what Tech does, looking at what Georgia State has. What did they do last year? Obviously, we have their OC as our wide receivers coach now. It's an interesting game, but we'll break that down. What else do I have written here? I think that's it. So you let me know what you guys think in the comments. Moving on to this Georgia State game. Are you worried? What do you think about the state of the program? I personally think it's never been higher. Talk to you guys later.